Hi, everyone. Some books I want to share from an author I've known for a long time, but recently missed some of his newer books. I got to see Kevin at the Scholastic Reading Summit in Chicago and hear him speak, and it inspired me to get to know some of his books that I missed. So one of the books he talked about and shared is A Parade of Elephants. And one, you definitely want to undress this book, as John Shu has taught us, because you will be interested to see those inner flaps. This is just a beautiful book. And this listening to him speak about what he wanted to bring to life in this book was incredible when you really could hear what seems to be such a simple book has so many layers. So it is a counting book. I think kids are going to love exploring all of these different elephants. I'm going to back up so people can see it. I also really love how he's starting to get kids to really begin to look across pages, because this is so important in a graphic structure, and in a graphic structure that's happening, so much for kids as they get older in books, that when they start to have to think about the flow of the page in a different way. I think it's really great for kids to start to explore that and think about it. Another page I absolutely loved that I think kids are going to love exploring is this one, just really how he made time go on and the way he did that, to really show that passage of time in a simple book. So I think this is going to be a great one for book clubs. Kids are going to love it. I then did some research and found this book, Egg, which is not one I knew. Again, the colors that he's using, they're just his light pastels. Are really beautiful. The mood and the tone and all of them, I really enjoy. And again, I think this would be a great one for book clubs. It also starts to have some of that graphic structure for kids to begin to explore. How do you read a page when it looks like that? And why would an author break things up in different ways? This is really accessible to our K2 readers. Again, here's another example of where he's playing with really slowing down time and giving you that sense. You can almost feel it in the way he added that to the illustrations. Has a great surprise ending that kids are going to love to talk about, but I'm really excited about bringing this one into K2 classrooms and launching book clubs early on with those two books. Waiting is another one I missed, and even got an honor, and I'm not sure why I missed it. Interesting book. It's one of the books that I felt like I had to go back and reread several times to figure out what I was taking away from it. It's a book that really, I do think lends itself to have conversations, and to really think about what the big idea is. I love the calmness, especially around a topic of waiting. I think waiting can often make us feel frustrated, and he doesn't do that. I think there's some pictures that kids are going to love. I think really talking about the expressions and what's going on in some of these pictures, and the illustrations. Again, not many words. This, I think, is my favorite spread to show. And I think this is going to really inspire kids to get conversations going in K2 book clubs. Another book of his that I explored, because I got a copy of it when I was at the summit, definitely more of a middle grade, even middle school. Seeing it feels like a 6th, 7th grade book. It could go younger, but the main character's in 7th grade, and I think some of the issues are going to be more accessible to that age range. But it's a pretty short text, and just looking at the amount of white space, it is a very accessible, be a quick read for kids, but with a lot of deep relationship exploration in it that I think kids will want to dig into. Both of the two main characters are really grappling with sort of their parents' relationship, and thinking that through and comparing one with loss versus one having divorce, and sort of finding their voice within each other. Really looks at both these characters use art to express themselves, and I think that's a really interesting conversation for kids to have with each other, and to think about, what is their way to work through the things that they're thinking about. So it really is a beautiful story. One thing that really struck me on it is Casey, one of the main characters, talks to Amelia about does she ever get signs from her mother who has passed away, and Amelia was really taken by this at first and was immediate no. but then she really began to think about it. And I remember people asking me that. And I think it's a really interesting way to talk to kids about, so what is a sign? If you believe there is, then do start to look for people in your life, and look for meaning in your life, who adds meanings to these things that we see. And I think that would be a really cool thing for kids to think a little bit about, and to think through, did she really see signs? Are these really signs, or are these signs a power of us choosing what it is we want to see? So I think there's a lot of depth of conversation in this book, depending on the age range that you teach. Yeah, I'm sure 4th and 5th graders could read it. I'm just not sure all the, the developmental stage of the characters, I think, are going to be better suited to 6th, 7th, 8th grade students. So, but hope you enjoy and check some of them out depending on the grade you teach. I enjoyed them.